to Organic Living, Organic Mike. I guess this may be our fourth or fifth segment. I think the last one got broken into two, so technically this may be episode 5, even though it's the third sort of installment in a way. Anyway, last time you saw me I was wearing my Yankee apron if you watched that installment, but I realized it was a little dirty, so I'm back to the red one. And I had just gotten back from Trader Joe's, that was earlier today, with showing you some of the organic produce I purchased, the vegetables and things I purchased, and how and why and all of that. And it was actually a longer segment than I thought. It ended up being the second part. It ended up being about 35 minutes, but this is going to be a shorter segment. My son's hungry, my 2-year-old son Jake, and he's ready for what I call Chik'lins. Now, about a year ago, I went on the internet looking for what kind of things I could start preparing for a toddler. You know, he wasn't just having formula or bottles anymore. And I wanted to start having some solid foods and things. And a few moms actually suggested these Morningstar Farms meal starters, chicken strips. They're, you know, textured vegetable protein. I guess they're tofu or something like that. And I believe, and I've had them myself. They're very good. My wife's had them. We like them. I haven't gotten her to let me make the Caesar grilled salad with this on instead of grilled chicken yet. But very good. And I try them. When I try them, I feel the bag to make sure that mostly they're thin cut strips, so I don't have to do too much more prep for Jake. And if you have bigger pieces, you cut them, you lose some of the breading, coating, whatever. But these, I lightly saute them in olive oil. 2 minutes on the first side, 1 minute on the second side, because the oil is getting hotter. And then take them out. I blot them with paper towel, and then cut them into little fingernail-sized pieces. Jake loves them. It's delicious. It's like eating little fried chicken bites, but much healthier. And of course, I saute them in the olive oil, but I still blot it. Usually I use Trader Joe's organic Spanish olive oil. My wife came up with this last time. Although I try to buy as much organic as possible, when it comes to something like olive oil, I'm not as much of a stickler, although I prefer the organic. Trader Joe's stuff is all very good, and it's the extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO as Rachel Ray would say. Hi Rach, if you're watching. Snoopy bowl for my son. You have a little bowl ready, and I use a paper towel folded in quarter like this so that I can blot the oil off them when they're done. And what I first do, of course, I got my non-stick skillet, non-stick pan. This is a small one just for Jake. I have the larger Calphalons for most of the other stuff I'm cooking for the whole family, but for Jake, I have the small one, small non-stick. And I put that on medium stove. I'm working with an electric stove. The last few places I've been involved electric. When I get my own place, hopefully in the next year or two, Kinahara, as my grandma Puppy would say, if things go well and I'm able to get a place, a bigger place, hopefully maybe we'll have a gas stove. Although when we had the earthquake during the summer in New York, it's one of the few times I was glad I actually had an electric stove, because I know what can happen with gas lines with the earthquakes. So anyway, give this, I set the timer for about 2 minutes, start pre-warming the pan and the olive oil. Now, like Rachel Ray would say, I eyeball it. About 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, more or less. I kind of eyeball it, and then of course I swirl the pan around. I may actually try and get a close-up at this point. So I'm going to bring the camera over, right back, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. You know, again, this is a one-man operation, so one-man operation, so it's not going to be as slick as a lot of other stuff out there. Here I am. Set that camera down over here if I can. And I may just have to hold it while I'm waiting for the oil. There's my, I'm going to flip this around. There's the non-stick pan with the olive oil. I'm just going to kind of swirl it around a little bit. And it's about a minute left of it preheating while it's doing that. While it's doing that, I'm going to pre-select for my son. I'm going to pre-select for him the Chik'lins I think are just the right size. Got my non-stick tongs. I don't know if I showed you those. Hang in there, buddy. Hang in there, buddy. Your Chik'lins will be ready soon. Jake's being a very good boy. Mommy doesn't want him on camera. I told him he could watch me make his dinner. And I keep forgetting I have to go the opposite way with this thing with the viewfinder. So I'm pre-selecting about 6 or 7 of these pieces that I think are about the right size. I'll turn the camera around in a second and show you those. Again, when you don't have a camera person, it's a little tricky. It's a one-man operation right now. So those will go back in the freezer. Let me swing this around. And I've pre-selected for Jake 7 nice pieces that I only have to slice. And okay, now the timer tells me that the oil should be hot. Now I've also got a spatter screen, a silicone spatter screen. So silicone spatter screen so that the oil flies all over the place. Now I'm going to try and put the camera back, and hopefully you'll get me in the right place by the stove as I do this. I'm not sure if I'm on camera or off, so I'm still learning on the go here with this stuff, trying to keep the camera from falling down and all that. So, all right, Jakey, I think we're good to go, except I'm cutting my hair off again. Let's try this one more time. Now the tripod seems to be leaning. And I don't want the oil to get too hot. So whatever it is, it is. Don't want my son's oil to be too hot for the chicklins. So put them in. You can hear they sizzle right away. Now that's one of the keys when you're frying or sauteing anything. And sauteing really means like quick frying, really, as opposed to deep frying. The key is using hot oil and putting things in hot oil. Now I'm going to put the spatter screen and set the timer for 2 minutes for the first side. Then when it beeps, I'm going to flip them over for 1 minute on the other side. Take them out, blot them with a paper towel, and then send the Snoopy bowl. Ball star Snoopy. Now, hot oil, again the key. If you put things in oil before it's really hot, they tend to be soggier. You want to fry things that are crispy. You want them to be crispy. Make sure the oil's hot before you drop on or submerge or whatever in the oil. So I give it 2 minutes at medium, and usually the oil's hot enough. If I'm doing stir frying, of course, I'm using a deep skillet. It's almost like a wok, and I have it on high or between medium and high. The oil's got to be a lot hot for that. So to get the shrimp to brown the way I want them to, I need that higher flame. I'm doing a stir fry with shrimp or something like that. This will be 2 minutes. Now I'm going to try and adjust the camera a little bit again while at least my son knows his chicklins are cooking. And Daddy is cooking his dinner, and he's not going to have to wait too much longer. This is all on an angle now, but if I start trying to adjust the tripod, everyone's going to get dizzy. So we'll deal with it for this segment. What can I say? This is, just pretend you're watching some, UHF channel. Maybe Weird Al Yankovic is running the station. I don't know, but sizzle, sizzle. It smells great with the olive oil. I mean, there are people who have tried this and didn't know it was a chicken. I didn't tell them what chicken. I just said, "What do you think it is?" And when I told them what it was, they're like, "Really?" So, plug for Morningstar Farms. Good stuff. I like their breakfast sausage patties that aren't real sausage also, although I haven't had them in a while. My son's starting to freak out a little bit, but his chicklins will be ready shortly. We've got about 8 seconds left on the first side. So this is nice and quick too, because you see how now if this segment had gone smoothly, I had to start this over because the batteries died. This little camera, it's a nice Vividar camera. It was inexpensive because my other one wasn't working, but unfortunately, it runs on 3 AAA batteries. This thing sucks the power out. I just put 3 in last night. I shot maybe 15 minutes worth of film last night, another 40 today, and that was it. So this thing uses up 3 AAA batteries, it seems like, in an hour, which is kind of unfortunate. I think I'm going to have to see about getting a really large amount of them, or I use rechargeable batteries for other things. They don't recommend them for this, but I may have to look into that for this because I can't believe how many batteries this camera is using, these AAAs, and I don't need the camera to be dying in the middle of the segment. I had to stop in the middle of the segment when I was doing it before because the batteries died. So, 44 seconds. Minute on this side, the oil's getting hotter, so it doesn't need as much time on the second side. That's a common mistake I think people make when they're sauteing and frying too, is anything where you're doing both sides. If you are doing both sides, the second side generally doesn't need as much time because the oil is getting hotter. And there's heat generated from the side of the food that has been cooking in the oil is also helping. So it doesn't need as much time on the second side generally. But you see the color, it if you're doing a fish like a salmon where you leave the skin on one side has the skin, then you actually don't cook on both sides. I used to do that years ago, and then Bobby Flay set me straight, not in person, but I watched him enough to know you only need to do the one side, and I put a lid over it and I kind of steam while I'm cooking. All right, there's the timer. So the chicklins should be ready for Jake.
Yeah.
So we take them out one at a time with the non-stick tongs. Always try not to use metal utensils in a non-stick pan. You will put all kinds of scratches, and some people like to use a knife and fork anyway and figure it's only little scratches, but over time you don't really want those scratches because they can corrupt the integrity of the non-stick, and you don't want it, something that should be healthy to be unhealthy. So now I'm going to walk over to my cutting board. I'm going to turn this camera around. And my son Jake, he's starting to freak out. Jake is almost ready, I promise. Guys, almost ready with your chicklins. Let's see if I can zoom out anymore with this thing, or in or out, or in or out, or out, in. All right. I think it's about as good as I'm going to get. Right now I've got to set this up on my convection oven so I can cook these for Jakey. I think I'm probably going to have to hold the camera the other way. First I'm just blotting them in the paper towel. Even though it's in healthy olive oil, I still don't want my son to have too much grease. So I'm going to turn this camera around. And here's my bamboo cutting board. Bamboo, good for the planet. There's the chicklins. I'm not sure how I can do this because I'm going to need two hands to cut. So let's just see what I can do here. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Let me back this up. Okay. Okay, I think you can kind of see what I'm doing, hopefully a little bit. I have a little KitchenAid Santoku knife. I've got two of them. My wife has small hands, and back when she used to do more of some of the cooking, I pretty much do all of it now. I got these because I'm fine with them, and she can use them. The full-size kitchen knife, really kind of big for her. So for any of you men and women out there, if you have small hands, these Santoku knives are nice. I love KitchenAid. They make great products. Years ago, I started using black handles for non-meat items. Now we pretty much only have fish. We don't even really have much chicken or beef. No beef in the house, but this way we don't mix them up. I have separate cutting boards too, one for fish, meat, poultry, and the other one for everything else. So just carefully cut this up. I hope you can see this. I can't really tell what's showing on here or not. I hope you're seeing this. It's a little tough for me to tell, but I am cutting the chicklins into small, like fingernail-sized pieces for my son. They're still hot, but not super hot. You gotta let them cool a little bit, of course. You don't want them to burn their mouths on pieces that are too hot. And I do sharpen my own knives. So as soon as they start giving me trouble, I do sharpen them. I put together my knife set piece by piece instead of buying a ready-made knife set, and then found a nice block for them. Just trying a little piece off the end. Very good. Nice and tasty. My son's going to like these. Other people have eaten them, and somebody doesn't finish, and people can't wait till he doesn't finish so they can have some. So here we go. Now we're going to put these back. And my hands, of course, are clean. I always wash my hands before I start cooking, although I did not show that in the segment. That was kind of a given. But my son is in the background. He really wants his chicklins. So delicious. You can try these, and again, they have some of them are bigger pieces. You can have them on like a Caesar salad. Again, Morningstar Farms breakfast meal starter chicken strips. Very inexpensive, less than $4 usually for a bag, and you get at least 5 or 6 meals out of it for your toddler. So really a nice meal, a healthy meal, and again, you can use this for yourself too. And now I think I got to sign off, because my son's really hungry. So I'm going to set up the camera here. And again, for Mike's Organic Living, this is Organic Mike Feuerstein. And if you like my videos, I'm going to have a lot more. Please come back. Please come back. Shh, Jakey. Shh. Please come back. Tell your friends. Like the video. Forward, share. Please subscribe. Hoping that there's enough interest in these that I can do more and really spend more time at home with my family and with my son. So that's the goal. So Mike's Organic Videos at YouTube, and please come back. Please subscribe. If you see anything you like, like my friends Pat D'Ambrosio, Ray Melillo, John Ramundi, and Eddie Vincenanza would say, keep coming back. If there's one thing you hear, maybe even every 4 or 5, 6 times, that makes a difference, makes you do something, makes your life better, you know, maybe that's all it is. You'll hear that one thing on one of my segments that really does it for you. So, till next time, salute, and be well, live well, buy mostly organic, and enjoy.